So today we're going to show you how we prepare for brand new chickens. Hey, thanks for doing that.
Oh, I need water.
Oh dear. Shoot. No, don't fall. Oh. What in the world? You gonna do it again? Do it again. Do it again. No, not me, not me, not me. You gonna run? No? Not my jacket. Having a small space, you think that it's efficient. It's not always the case. The fencing we need is kept in the goat barn, but we keep our chickens when we brood them in our garage. And while it really is actually a very small space to walk, it's not always the most convenient when you're trying to get something done really fast. I mean, I would like to be getting ready to go to bed, but I'm not. I am preparing a brooder tonight because I don't want to get a phone call at 5:30 in the morning saying that chicks are here, and then I don't have a brooder set up because we've been there, and that's not fun. So we're going to set up a brooder, and I'm going to show you how we do it. This is hands down my most favorite brooder. It's cheap, so if you find yourself wanting to get chickens and you don't want to spend a lot of money on the essentials, you don't have to, because we did when we first got chickens. A lot of money, and we didn't have to. And a brooder is where you house baby chicks after they've hatched. You can keep them warm, you keep them contained. They're on pine shavings with some food and some water. So with that, I had to think fast. And with this whole use what you have thing that's kind of our motto here on the farm. You use what you have until you can get something else, really. And what we had was a swimming pool, a kiddie swimming pool. And we have a lot of fencing, like spare fencing. Never throw away spare fencing. And we have spare wood. Never throw away spare wood. You're always going to use it, and zip ties and duct tape. This is my favorite setup. It's a you'll see there's a swimming pool, and we have low fencing around. We actually cut this one down to size so we could reach in and grab the turkeys, which is what's in here. And then what I like about this is that we have a piece of wood, scrap piece of wood, that we can slide in here, and the heat lamp is attached to it. That allows us to move this higher or lower depending on what our needs are. And as the chickens get flighty, you will actually find them roosting on the piece of wood right there. But this is how we set it up. So here's our other kiddie pool. We actually bought this one because it was going to be more efficient for what we're doing this year, because we have turkeys, egg layers, and meat chickens. This is just simple garden fencing that we have. It's low. It's probably, what is that, 2.5 feet tall, maybe? Maybe.
Just over my knee. I think.
Can you see this? Okay. This is at 2.5 feet tall. 2 feet tall. My legs are 3 feet long. So what we do, we're going to wrap around the swimming pool. And we'll do this twice. What?
I can hold it still by standing in it.
Thanks. And the cool thing about about fencing, you can see this is at the end of it, you have extra wires. So you don't need anything extra. You can just use it. But yeah, this is just garden fencing. This was actually given to us by a friend of mine. And this is what we used it for. It's supposed to block off our garden from animals, but it's gotten more use this way than it has any other way. Now you're going to want to put a layer of pine shavings in. Some people suggest putting down a layer of newspaper before you put the pine shavings in. That's not necessary. It's just an extra step that you really don't need, to be honest. And yeah, and it does make it harder to clean and messier to clean than it is. Because when we clean out this, we just take the big broom, what is that? The dust pan, and we just scoop it out that way. And then we go and throw it in our compost bin. Which, if you watch my video, the compost bin is actually my chicken run. Okay, so we have a nice layer of pine shavings in here. All right, spare wood. And since these guys are brand new babies, I'm going to keep this relatively low. It should be good enough. And the cool thing with this is I can adjust it. So, you know, I can make it do what I need it to do. And I'll keep one side of the brooder warm, and the other side's going to be nice and cool. So that way they have, the chickens can escape for the heat. But I'm actually going to turn it this way and have the hot side on opposite, so that our door that's over here, we can easily come out and get them food and water. Make it easy for yourself, so that way you can take care of them. Don't overthink this. And you're going to hear me say this all the time, because I think we sometimes overthink things or research too much to the point where we just don't even try. This is a swimming pool. A kiddie swimming pool is what it is. And you have fencing that's about 2 feet tall. And then there's a piece of wood that is the length of this, that would go through the slats right there. You have a heat lamp. We have a waterer, and we have their food container. The basics that a chicken brooder needs is heat, food, and water. That's the basic. If you get just a couple of chickens and you want to put a towel down as the bedding, more power to you. It stinks, it's gross, but if that's what you have, then do it. Don't let not having something keep you from doing it. Here's the reason that I really, really like this. This door right here is our garage door to our house. My laundry room is right there. Our bathroom is right there. So I'm in this hallway several times a day. And what I like to do is I can look out here and I can see into my brooder. I can see into the brooder right there. I can see how the chickens are doing, making sure that there's water, there's feed. If there's a problem, I can address it quickly. I mean, it's spring, it's chaotic here. Taking that one little step out of not having to go into my garage, but to being able to glance out to see them makes this hands down my most favorite brooder. With everything, because we already had the heat lamp, we have the food and the water container. It only cost us the $14 for that swimming pool. You can get a smaller swimming pool. Our first swimming pool we got was $5. The fencing was free. And, well, I take that back. We had to spend money on the pine shavings. You'll always need to spend money on the pine shavings. So it's really cheap. Our very first brooder setup, because we had to buy everything, was probably about $150. That's a lot to spend on chickens when they're babies. It's a lot to spend on chickens, period. But like I said, we still use it. It's still usable. We have chickens in it currently. But this is my favorite. And now I'm gonna get ready to go to bed because I suspect a phone call very early from the post office in the morning. We got baby chickies. Look, look, look. Yeah. So just like suspected, we got or my husband got a phone call at 5 a.m. From the post office saying, "Come get the baby chickies. You have chicks in." So I got up and got their water and their feed prepared. So while my husband went to the post office, I came in and I turned on the heat lamp. They've been without heat for for a couple of days since they were shipped. They need heat. They had each other to keep themselves warm, but they need heat. And so that got started so that way they had a warm area to immediately go to if they wanted to. But they really, really wanted water. So you're just gonna take it and you're gonna just dip its beak in there. And see, that's all it needs. And it's like, oh, I know where the water is. And then it will run away. See? Then I have their feed in here. There's different kinds of feeders. This is a long feeder. I like this for my meat chickens because they're aggressive eaters. And so there's not any waste with these guys. Because they are aggressive eaters, I will soak their feed. So I'll pour it in there, I'll wet it down a little bit. You can wet it in another bucket and put it in there. You can ferment their feed. I'm not super great at the fermenting of the feed. I would like to be. I have aspirations of being, but I'm not right now. And just in case you're curious, this is our other setup. And they're terrified of me because we don't see them all the time. This is one of those stock tanks that we got at Tractor Supply. And it has a heat lamp. Same deal, feed, water, bedding. And we do have this covered because this is outside and neighborhood cats, things like that. I don't want them to get in there. So we have that we put on it at night. And you can see I'm sitting down next to this, so it's rather tall. So it's hard to see in it. It's not an excuse. Like if you want to get something like this, go ahead and get something like this. It's fine. We use it all the time. It is rather expensive, but we do use it. It's secure. It's great. And when we're not using it as a brooder, the goats use it. They jump on it. They use it as a little house to hide in because it's on its side in the goat run. But this is great too. So if you want to invest in something, do it. If you don't want to invest in anything, a little kiddie pool and some fencing is going to be great. So I don't want anyone to not do something because they don't feel like they can afford it. You can afford it. You make priorities for the things that you want to do. We want to raise chickens. We want to raise as much meat as we can. We want to raise chickens for eggs, for even for just enjoyment. We want to do those things, so we make room in our budgets to do that. But it doesn't have to be expensive. It only has to be as expensive as you make it.
Yeah. If you were human, you'd have a weird animal voice too. Yes, you would.